born at at home at the old Simpson farm on Simpson Road, and I was the youngest of 5 children. And then when I went to school, I started school. I was really 6, nearly 7. I don't know why mother held me back, because my birthday was December, just before Christmas, and but anyway, I didn't go so I was 7 by Christmas time, and I just started in September. And then there was always a day or two every year that we didn't go to school because the river would flood over the flats and over the road. And in the wintertime, if it was really cold, and my father would take us to school in the big sleigh, and mother would warm bricks and wrap them in newspapers for us in the big sleigh, and then we had buffalo robes that would put over us. And the school building is still there, but it's was made into a home, and right now it's in terrible condition, and it's the yard is full of brush and trees and old cars. It's rather sad to see it. When I was going to school, of course we had just the oil lamps, but while I was in school, we got the hydro. And I can remember walking home from school, and I could see the lights. It was getting, wintertime or late fall. It was getting dark, and I could see the house all lit up, and it was so bright you could just hardly stand it when you're inside, from lamps to electricity. And then, of course, I went to Glencoe High School. And there were no buses in those days, so we either walked or wanted to give us a ride, because it was about 4 miles into the Glencoe, into the high school. And when I was going to high school, that was one year that the King and Queen visited Canada, and we all marched up from the school to the station, the Glencoe station, and there were just thousands of people. There were train cars on the siding, and people were up on top, and it was just thousands of people came to watch. And that was a very exciting day to see the King and Queen. The train actually stopped, and a little Burdan girl gave flowers, and that was the Queen Mother, King George the Sixth, and Queen Elizabeth, of course, and then also Princess Elizabeth and Prince Philip came through once, and we saw them down at the station too, and then after I graduated from high school, I went to Beale Technical School for most of the year, taking business, and then got a job at the London Life. And so I didn't go the whole year when I got a job. I didn't go the whole year. So I worked at the London Life about close to 7 years, and then when I was married, and Vern had been overseas, but he was from Regina, actually. But his aunt and uncle had bought a drugstore in Glencoe during the war. So when he was on his way home from overseas in 1946, he stopped by to see them. And I met him then. And then we started going together then, and then we were married in about 3 years. We were married in 1949. And we lived in a little house in Glencoe, and then we built our house on the Appin Road in 1955. And when he became not very well, we decided to move and got into this apartment because I realized that I just couldn't look after a house and all the business of looking after everything. And so I've been here for quite a few years. And because he died in 2009. And so, as I say, I've been here. And but this apartment, it just suited us, the two of us, fine, and it certainly has suited me ever since. But when my husband was living 2 different years, he was in the artillery during the war. And the Dutch people, of course, were very fond of the Canadians because they liberated the Netherlands. And 2 different years, they organized what they called Thank You Canada. And so Vern and I, we went. And oh, they were so good to us. They billeted us in a home for 2 weeks and had planned programs for the whole 2 weeks. And that was just 2 fabulous trips to the Netherlands. And we traveled quite a bit because the drug companies used to have trips, organized trips, and we took those. And then I've forgotten what year it was, but my husband joined the Rotary Club then. He was a Rotarian, and they had exchange students. So we put in for an exchange student, and our first one was for Brazil. And so that was, we enjoyed having him. And one year his parents came at Christmas time.
Oh, wow.
And so we entertained them, and it was just, these young people were just wonderful to have. And then the next one we had was Olaf from Sweden, and they actually were supposed to stay just 3 months at each place. There were 3 or 4 different homes that they go to, but Olaf, a couple of the other homes didn't work out for him, so he was with us for pretty well the whole year, and we became great friends. His parents came out to visit him, and so we've been friends all these years. So we went to Sweden for his wedding, and actually have visited there about 3 different times to Sweden. Well, one of our wonderful trips was to England. As I said, my husband was in the artillery. Well, it was an anniversary. I've forgotten what anniversary it was of the Royal Artillery, and the Queen invited the officers of Canada to meet us, and so we had a trip to England, and we went to Buckingham Palace and actually had met Queen Elizabeth, and then after we met her, we went out into the garden, and she moved amongst all of us and chatted to us. So that was a very exciting day, and I've had a good life. So, and then back here it was wonderful because my family were close. I've got a son and a daughter that live in London, and then I got my nieces and nephews that live out and around about, and they're so good to me. They look after me, and so I've lived a good life, and I've seen lots of changes because, of course, there was no television or anything like that. The young generation, the grandchildren, just can't believe that there was no television at some time. And so I've just, and I've always been interested and go to the Anglican Church, and So I always worked at the Anglican Church and helped with dinners and all that sort of thing, and I used to collect for the Cancer Society and things like that, and and I helped when my husband had the pharmacy, of course, and I used to help in the pharmacy quite a bit, and so we sold it in 1983, and so I've had a good life and a wonderful life, and I've had good health, and I've been very fortunate. Trained. Now he trained in the skiing, like he was in the ski troop.
Like cross country?
Well, mountains and so on.
Oh.
As a soldier.
Wow.
Yeah. And,
so was he here through the Rotary Club?
Rotary Club.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but you know, the different times I visit there, they were always on the lookout for Russian submarines and so on out and around. Of course, you see all the little islands and everything there. Mm. Yeah. One of the trips, that was an interesting trip. One of the trips we flew into, well, I think we flew to Ireland and changed, and then flew into Scotland, and we visited Aunt Bunny's friend. Oh, now I can't think of her name. And
Auntie Edith?
No, she was they joined the forces at the same time, Bunny and her friend. Oh, isn't that, I can't think of what her name was. Should know. She was Muriel Gibb. She was a lovely lady, and then we took the train and across the channel, and I know we stayed over in Delft in Holland, and anyway, took the train all the way to Sweden. So we went through a little bit of some of Germany, and you know, that was, and we ended up in at Stockholm, and then another time. No, we flew out of Stockholm. We took the train across to Stockholm to Copenhagen, and we went to the Tivoli Gardens. And have you ever heard of the Tivoli Gardens? It's a lovely place. And the night we happened to be there, it was Sir Isaac Stern. He was a great violinist, a world-renowned violinist, was playing, and so that was really quite exciting. And a man by the name of MacDonald, I don't remember his first name, was his accompanist, and he was a Canadian, I think.
Paul.
Yeah.
Was it Paul MacDonald?
I don't know, but he was a piano accompanist.
Okay.
So that was